With that down, let's go on to one more final main topic today, and then we'll move on to our live questions. And our final main topic today gets submitted to us by Shane Gibbs. And Shane Gibbs writes, "Hey, John and crew, huge fan, been watching since the AMC days." Oh, thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. It's always fun to hear people who say they've been watching the show for that long. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you for starting your own channel. With the news breaking of Supergirl ending, I wanted to get your thoughts, and if you are happy Superman won't be jobbed anymore to her. Thank you, and bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for sending this in, man. And yes, you guys have probably heard by now that the CW Supergirl show is ending. This comes to us from the folks at Deadline who wrote, Supergirl will be taking her last flight. The CW and producers, so this is the network and the producers, Warner Brothers TV and Berlanti Productions, just announced that the drama series starring Melissa Benoist, I never know if I'm pronouncing her name right, I should because I think she's a good Canadian girl, will conclude with the upcoming 6th season, set to premiere on the CW in 2021. Between the delays and Supergirl's downward ratings trajectory, it had been taking a beating in its ratings. I hear the producers, the studio, the network, and Benoist came to a decision that it was better to end the show with a longer final season, aka the show got canceled. Whenever the studio and the network are involved, okay, so that means it got canceled, especially with the show where its ratings are declining. Now, contrary to what the popular belief might be, I am not here today to dance on the grave of the Supergirl show. I did not like Supergirl. Just be clear about it. I really hated, first of all, even without the jobbing Superman stuff, the show just wasn't for me. And that's fine. The show just wasn't for me. And I really did hate, and I've gone on ad nauseum, so I won't do it again, but I've always hated the way they turned Superman into a jobber. Thought that was disrespectful, but whatever. The reality is that Supergirl was a fairly important, for a period of time, fairly important show to the CW and the direction that the CW was going. It introduced a new Kryptonian. It was CW's first female-led superhero show, although you could make an argument that in a lot of ways White Canary was kind of the lead of Legends of Tomorrow, but still. And it had a very passionate fan base. It may not have had a huge fan base, but the people who watched the show and appreciated it really appreciated it. And it was a show that will have lasted 6 seasons, and not a lot of shows make it to 6 seasons. To me, it's also significant when looking at the issue of, what's the best way to put this? It really is the end of an era of the CW Arrowverse. Because now this is the second show of that kind of first batch that is coming to an end. Obviously, we had Arrow come to an end, which I didn't realize this was going to happen because while I loved the first couple of seasons of Arrow, like passionately, like I was one of the biggest evangelists in the world for Arrow. You guys know that it fell out of favor with me. Like it fell off for me. It lost its way. Captain Buckles notwithstanding, it kind of lost its way to me. Then it had some highs and lows as it went along. But I didn't realize this at the time. My interest in the CW Arrowverse was always kind of founded on my interest in Arrow. And I realized when Arrow ended, a lot of my interest in the Arrowverse ended, even though there was a show like Flash, which I love. I love Flash. But I realized I wasn't racing to watch the next episode of Flash when a new episode would drop. I would get 2 or 3 weeks behind. And I realized, wow, a lot of my enthusiasm about the Arrowverse is gone once the kind of thing that got me into the Arrowverse, Arrow, was done. Even though I didn't love Arrow by the end of it, still, it was that important. And Stephen Amell and his character in that thing had played that kind of an important role to me. And I think now having this second kind of founding show coming to an end, I have a feeling that the experience that I had might be the experience for a lot of other people too. Because like I said, while I am not a fan of Supergirl at all, there are a lot of people who are. And I think I can't help but wonder if for those people who Supergirl for them became their anchor of the CW Arrowverse universe, if they might not have the same experience I had when Arrow ended. And I can't help but wonder if a lot of the people who got introduced into this Arrowverse, got introduced into the CW superhero world through Supergirl, if that might, I don't know, atrophy some of their interest in the CW. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting because Arrow ending, hey, it had a long run, it ended. But now with Supergirl ending, it kind of marks the end of that phase one, if you want to call that, if we want to use MCU terms. I can't help but wonder if this feels a little bit like the ending of phase one of the CW verse with the ending of Supergirl. And you know what? I wasn't a fan of it, but that's fine. There are a lot of people who were. And it's going to be interesting to see how this affects them and their fandom with the CW extended universe as well. Question is, guys, what do you think about them bringing Supergirl to an end? I mean, the ratings kind of dictated it, but hey, it still made it like 6 seasons, and a lot of shows don't do that. What do you think about that? Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.